When you've got a few apps deployed to your Intune environment, it won't be long until some of those apps are out of date and in need of an update. With Robopack, we solve that with a simple flow. A flow mimics what a normal Intune administrator does when they're deploying updates to applications. Just as we did with the deployment of the new app, check out that video if you want to know more about that, we can do the same with updates. And this is arguably even more important because updates happen very regularly and you're not always going to be around and ready to approve these for release. But it would be great if they were fully tested before you even had to get involved. Let me show you what I mean. The concept we're looking at is RoboPatch. When we head into RoboPatch, you'll see all of the flows, the RoboPatch flows that you've already got in the environment. I'll just quickly scroll down these and show you. So we've got these applications which already have a RoboPatch flow, and as we saw in that previous video, that means they will automatically update whenever a new version is released. I do have an application in here though that hasn't got a flow associated with it, so it won't automatically update. That might have happened if you imported an instant app and didn't create a flow when you did that. So let's quickly show you how we can fix that. We can go into recent packages and take a look at the applications that we've got. Now notice I have the Windows Stat application here. That didn't have a flow created with it when I built it. I just imported it directly into Robopack. So we can simply click on that and we have set up RoboPatch flow exactly as we saw before. We also have an option to go into RoboPatch itself and choose add new and then find Win-der-Stat here and we can create a flow from here. Let's do it from the previous way I just showed you. We're going to find the package that I already have, I'm going to click into it, I'm going to choose Setup RoboPatch Flow. We do that, this is the familiar interface that we just saw when we created a new application in that other video. And we'll just take a few seconds to look at these options that are available. Now I mentioned the automatically upload and start new deployments option was really there so that you didn't have to get involved with the initial starting of this application being deployed. When it's released as an update, it will go to your test devices. Very, very good. We can also look at stopping this deployment when an updated version has been released. That might be a good idea. So think about it. Once the Win-der-Stat team have released a new version of Win-der-Stat, it's probably not a good idea to be deploying the old version. But it might be. Depending on how you've set up your flows, if Win-der-Stat gets released every couple of days, like Chrome does, then you might never get to a state where all of your devices have finally got your application installed because it keeps getting stopped because a new version gets released. So do bear that in mind and think about the cadence of the application being released when you're deciding whether you're going to stop this deployment when a new version is released. For this one, I don't think they release that often, so I'm going to choose stop deployment when a new version is added. And then we can also start a new one even if the previous one is not done. So if it hasn't quite finished yet, then it will still deploy the new version, and that's good because it'll get into test and then pilot and then it's ready to deploy later on. We can also specify not to remove superseded applications, to uninstall the previous version when upgrading rather than just installing over the top. We can allow available uninstall in the company portal. That's quite useful if you want people to be able to remove it even though you've deployed it. Also, we can change how the application is named. So right now, by default, it will use the flow name when you create an application, which is Win-der-Stat here, but you might have much more information, administrative information and metadata in that flow name, and you don't want that to be carried over to Intune for the application name, so you can just tick that box if you're doing that. And then we can also keep the last 3 superseded versions. We can specify how many we want to have. So I'll choose Create Flow, and then we've got this wave concept. Now I already created a great wave flow in the previous video, so I'm going to choose Copy. I'm going to find my tree size 3 and choose Copy Waves, and there's the waves ready to go for me to just choose Save and Start Deployment. And with that, the application is fully patched and will be patched as soon as an update is released. Depending on the flow you've configured, that could be slow and cautious or nice and quick. That's up to you.